Hello, this is Father Lynn McMillan, and once again I'm doing a video for our first communicants so parents can explain to their kids how the Bible and the Eucharist go together. And so we're talking about Abraham, still talking about Abraham this week. And here's an interesting story about Abraham. Abraham is blessed by God. But here's the question: how did God bless Abraham? And it's through this priest named Melchizedek. So this sounds really strange. This is the first time in the Bible the word priest appears, and it appears by this strange priest named Melchizedek. And Melchizedek says that he's the high priest of Yahweh. What's bizarre about that is that the name Yahweh won't be revealed for hundreds and hundreds of years till we get to Moses. And priest, this is the first time a priest is mentioned in the Bible. This is the first time in Judaism. It will be hundreds and hundreds of years before actually Judaism has this priesthood. So who the heck is this high priest of Yahweh? A priesthood that started way before Moses, way before they even knew God's name. And he says he's the king of the city of peace, Salam. Well, Jerusalem is a city of peace, but Jerusalem doesn't exist yet. And so who is this king who is the king of the city of peace? We would say it's a foreshadowing of Christ. And it says he has no mother or father. Well, that sounds like Christ as well. God has no mother or father. So back to the question. So Abraham is blessed by God through this high priest. And how does he bless Abraham? And he blesses Abraham through bread and wine, sharing in bread and wine. So oddly enough, from this point to the rest of the Bible, how does God bless his people? One of the very main ways in the Bible is through bread and wine. So we would say how this relates to Eucharist is God continues to bless us through the high priest Christ through sharing in the bread and wine. And I said this theme is repeated all through the Bible to the very end of the book of Revelation in heaven. Blessing, bread, wine, priest. And so once again, the Eucharist is not something we made up. This is the pattern that God taught us from the very early part of the Bible all the way through it. God doesn't bless anyone through listening to a long lecture or a rock concert. Now, rock concert and a lecture aren't bad, but how God blesses is through bread and wine. And God continues to bless us here at St. Pius, just like Abraham, through bread and wine. And later, it'll show how Jesus, our high priest and king, commands us to worship. So, as I said, shouldn't we worship God the way God wants to be worshipped, using bread and wine? So it's not something we made up. It's all through the Bible, starting with the very beginning of faith, Abraham. So God bless you. See you next week.